Today, we are breaking down Fox's brand new 2026 NFL mock draft. Let's get right into this. Blow my face at my board. These are all 22 graded players and only in all 22. If you guys want to see the full list, all the player breakdowns, every single player that I see is a riser and a faller every single week. And on top of that, extended positional ranking videos and some exclusive videos where we're going to be bringing on some interviews. Feel free to go follow me over on the Patreon. Let's jump right into this again. Some people got a little feathers ruffled because I'm wearing something that has an American flag on it. But, obviously some stuff happened yesterday, and I want to make sure that first off, if you guys are having a tough time, I am there for you. But those of y'all who want to make this into something where you try to make some points, don't be a dick. I always say be a dick, don't be a dick about it. We're here to support each other and love each other, even if we disagree. All right. But at number one overall, the New Orleans Saints go Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback out of LSU, 6'2", 200. He is, I think, listed at 204 to 205 right now. So good to see that he's putting on weight. Father, the offensive coordinator. So we'll see what happens there. It does look like Spencer Rattler is actually doing a pretty solid job. We'll see if he ends up, continuing to do so. But yes, these are reverse Super Bowl odds for per FanDuel, which is actually what I ended up using for my most recent mock draft. You guys might be wondering, I'm like, where's the trades mock draft? It's coming out tomorrow. It's too late, if I'm going to be honest. Today was a little bit rough. So, I appreciate the love and support that you guys have given me. But on top of that, I want to make sure that I'm not rushing content for y'all. And this is really fun. I wanted to do this. And rather than it being my Saturday video, I'm going to just have it be my Thursday. Number two, we have the Cleveland Browns going Arch Manning. Highly doubt he comes out. Based on how he's played, no idea why he would be a selection here at number two. But, it's definitely, I'm sure expect him to vastly improve as the year goes on. Sure, but NFL GMs are going to see that first game and they're going to put a lot of weight into that, saying like, well, week one in the NFL isn't something that you can just lose and then just say, oh, I'm better later on, unless you're Joe Burrow. But even though I think Joe Burrow actually just recently won, so good on him. Granted, should have probably lost, but the kicker for the Browns sucked. But speaking of the Browns, of all things, Arch Manning, definitely somebody I think should be going back to school. But even if he shows a lot of improvement, NIL deals and, definitely showing a lot of room that needs to be developed would make me feel a little more comfortable with him going back to school. And number three, we have the Tennessee Titans going after Peter Woods, defensive material out of Clemson. If the Titans are sitting here at number three, which quite surprising, like I assume this would have been earlier in the week because the odds I used were literally as of yesterday. So that's kind of fun. But, the Titans, I still think are a really solid roster. That's just underrated. Cam Ward looks like a class act. He's saying like, yeah, a receiver drops a ball, I'm going to throw a pick. Like, why are we, criticizing a player or two? That's definitely a way to get guys to build around you. So love that. And the talent's absolutely there. People trying to get on his ass because he's not Jaden Daniels week number one. It just shows that people want to complain. But regardless, the Titans, I don't think defensive interior would be the area I'd go after. Peter Woods as well has been pretty underwhelming to start out the year. But, I still think he's a damn good player. I still think he'll end up being a top 10 guy on my board regardless. For me, if I'm sitting here at three, it's going to be Caleb Downs, which funnily enough, because I adjusted LaNorris, has officially been my number one player. But yeah, definitely that realm. I'd probably go after Caleb Downs. Jordan Tyson, I just don't think that the wide receiver class is, I don't think it's top heavy enough to justify it at three. But if you're sitting there at like 4, 5, 6, and, Downs is gone and you're like, well, who do we go after? We can't trade out. Then you can start discussing it. But if you do have a player like Caleb Downs, who's a superstar, I think that needs to be the selection. But the New York Jets end up making that choice and draft trait Caleb Downs, defensive back out of the Ohio State University at number 4. I would love to see how they would want to think about the quarterback situation. Maybe they just believe that Justin's the guy. He looked really solid. Granted, he was the longest time to throw in the entire NFL in week number 1. We'll see if that trend continues in week number 2. But Caleb Downs, the best player available. I would still say go after the QB. Number 5, we have the Carolina Panthers going LaNorris Sellers. So, funnily enough, usually these picks are switched. But Bryce Young, he is on a proverbial hot seat. How many times are the Panthers not going to be able to produce? And, I mean, I love Bryce. I want him to win. He makes spectacular throws, but you have to win in the NFL. It's not just a sporadic, like, we're going to have some high level throw here, high level throws there. You need to put together a full game and end up putting together a win. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is about winning above all else. And, I know that's a team game, but it's very heavily weighted on the quarterback. There's a chance that maybe the Jets could end up trading for Bryce Young if Justin Fields isn't the guy and they just love Caleb Downs and maybe not LaNorris. But yeah, LaNorris going to be the guy there for Carolina. Very intriguing take. Not something I'm ready to pull the trigger on just yet. At number 6, we have the New York Giants going CC Mauigoa, right tackle in Miami. Again, it's preference. I don't think Mauigoa is a tackle. I think he's a guard. So I go after Fano, but the same idea is the same. Go and fix the right tackle spot. It just feels like the right thing to do. Speaking of right tackle, we got Spencer Fano going at number 7 instead of number 6 to the Miami Dolphins. Spencer Fano is an absolute monster. Somebody who I think is going to be a top tier offensive lineman in the NFL. We'll see if he ends up continuing his streak of just being an absolute monster. But I mean, for me, it's been now over a year straight of him being very, very reliable. And I think he should be going higher than this. I mean, I do think he should be a top 5 lock. He is that good of a tackle. At number 8, we have the Raiders going Keldrick Falk, defensive end out of Auburn, 6'6", 270. Definitely can see this being a move the Raiders want to go after. If Keldrick Falk can prove to be an every down defensive end, this would end up working out very well. But I would prefer to go after Reuben Bain Jr. myself. That's just personal preference, though. At number 9, we have the Cleveland Browns going TJ Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson. Again, I'm a Reuben Bain guy, so I'm just going to be pounding the table for him. TJ Parker has not produced remotely enough to justify being in the top 10. Even though I recently took him, I didn't realize the pressure percentage was that bad. It's good to get wins, but you'd still also have to convert them to pressures, which you have to convert those to sacks. Like, at the end of the day, it's not just about winning the block. It is about making an impact on the play. We just try to look at those stats and see, hey, can you get off a block? And if you can, what do you do? And TJ Parker so far can get off some blocks, over 27% just block win rate, not pass rush win rate. And once you do that, you would hope that would be like around 15, 16, and it's at like 7.9. But regardless, number 10, we have the Patriots going Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker out of Texas. I am not a big Anthony Hill Jr. guy, especially this high. I definitely see the potential with him, but I do not see the Jahad Campbell that people try to talk about. I think Vrabel is definitely able to maximize the linebacker talent, and that means you do not need to draft one here at number 10. Number 11, we have the Falcons going Jermod McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee. We have yet to see him, and I'm hoping that he gets on the field soon. Definitely one of the top corners in the country, but when it comes to NFL translatability, we got to see what the health is. We got to see what the athleticism is after that ACL tear. And number 12 for the Dallas Cowboys, Cade Klubnik, quarterback out of Clemson. Oh, all right. Why? Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Before I start going batshit, who? I mean, I don't mean any disrespect. Like, I've never heard of Rob Rang. And again, I mean, there's people like myself that would kill for a job like this. I like to write too, so Fox Sports, feel free to reach out. If any of y'all know someone at Fox Sports, by all means, feel free to connect us. But what are we doing here? I mean, this isn't even on the... Oh, yep, there we go. QB's first round, including Cowboys. Why do I feel like this was a forced move? I mean, Dak is not the problem, but his prime night might not mesh with their current reset. I mean, I understand like the vision right there, but Micah Parsons would have ended up being paid at that point because, that would be, essentially the quarterback or the face of the franchise. Dallas has yet to, I mean, Cade Klubnik is not going to be able to replace Dak Prescott. And I'm not the biggest Dak guy on planet Earth, but yeah, no. Unfortunately, the Cowboys are a brand, and the brand needs consistency of at least somewhat competitive levels. And so, yeah, I am not sold on this at all. And like, where would Dak be going? Because I didn't see him mentioned earlier. So that's an intriguing idea to see where he would end up going to, which would obviously affect the mock draft. I mean, if a team trades for Dak Prescott, they're not going to be drafting a QB. 13 got the Seahawks going at Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. Also, would the Cowboys not end up getting a first round pick out of Dak? Like, what's going on here? I mean, are they gonna, like, sit Cade Klubnik? I mean, the thing about Cade is you could sit John Mateer. You can't sit Cade. I mean, Cade is the definition of high floor. You need an immediate impact. You're not getting a lot from Cade sitting. But regardless, Seahawks go Mekhi Lemon, really good receiver. I still want a little bit more of a deep threat. Mekhi definitely can challenge deep, but I just love the way he dissects every level of the field. And to be honest, like route running separators is how you guys like succeed at the moment. I'd prefer to just literally get a DK Metcalf like Nick Harbor over a Mekhi Lemon for the Seahawks, even though I have Nick Harbor below Mekhi Lemon. Number 14, you got the Colts going Caden Proctor, tackle out of Alabama. Huh? Come on, man. I mean, again, I don't mean to be a dick. Like that's especially like during these times right now, but there's just a certain point where we got to have some quality control. Yes, the NFL is batshit and they'll do stuff that we'll be scratching our heads on. But I mean, it's like you got to at least you got to do something more than this. It feels so sloppy, brother. I hate to say it. It feels really sloppy. And this is from Fox. This isn't like some lower grade site, which I have worked for said lower grade sites and have tried to put like those guys on those sites put a lot more effort, even if it doesn't always make sense. Like this does not look, I mean, Daniel Jones resurrection, like, come on. The Colts will want to continue boosting their offensive line. You could at least try to talk about the fact that you need a right tackle or something. Like Caden Proctor, first off, is a bum. Like right now, he just needs so much more development. And he's massive and shockingly athletic. Congratulations. That doesn't get you drafted at 14. You need to be still good at your job. You know who is pretty solid sized and shockingly athletic that was just drafted? Michael Williams, who's struggling early. And Michael was 10 times the player that Caden Proctor is right now. So let's just be real, especially at a position that needs more consistency like offensive tackle. We gotta get a little bit more consistency here, guys. I mean, the editors, you gotta end up saying like, what the hell is going on here? Especially at a brand like Fox. Again, there's a lot of people, myself included, but I know a lot of people, including probably you guys, that would love, and I mean, dream to have a job where you can end up writing a mock draft on this website. And it kind of feels like when people get these opportunities, they're kind of throwing them away. Like you don't need. Maybe this guy could be really good at talking about other things. But the draft obviously is not one of them. So, I mean, it's just like there's going to be plenty of people that you could just probably pay $100 to put an article on here. Hell, I would pay you guys $100 to put my own article on here, right? Like it's just like some people get too comfortable in a position that they're in, and then we get a mock draft that doesn't really make it too worth our time. But sometimes a broken clock's right twice a day, and it's fun to see maybe some new pairings that we can end up talking about. Chicago Bears go Jeremiah Love. Speaking of something that's not a new pairing, this has just been kind of old but gold. Very solid move. I mean, Jeremiah Love is my RB2, very, very close to RB1. Damon Claiborne is the guy who is literally a quarter of a point ahead of him. Sorry, half a point ahead of him. Damon Claiborne's an awesome player. Jeremiah Love, though, the more likely first running back off the board. Bears still looking for a top-tier running back. At 16, the Arizona Cardinals go Nick Singleton, running back out of Penn State. So basically, they're just trying to get the next James Conner. I understand the vision there. Don't understand like why you'd go Nick Singleton in the first necessarily. A lot of people, even the fans of Nick Singleton, are starting to like get on the train that Nick is not a first round pick. Running backs in the first are very, very tough to find. And I love Penn State. Y'all know that. But yeah, I mean, again, this is not something that I'll like rant and be like, oh, hey, Fox, what are you doing? Like, no, I can see the vision here. I understand. I just personally would not do this pick. Steelers end up going Drew Aller, quarterback out of Penn State at number 17. Big fan of this one. Obviously, Drew Aller is my QB3 at the moment, and I love him to the Steelers. I was trying to put him there last year, so I respect it. I think it's a good pick. 18, the Buccaneers go Mateo Uiagalelei, edge rusher out of Oregon. A little bit bigger than the style of edge rusher they usually go after, but David Walker was drafted last year. I think that the build of 6'5", 270, or in that 270 range, because I think David Walker is like 6'1", is going to be a little bit more like it's probably going to be pushed out of the first round in terms of issues that they want to go after. I would say the lighter 250 and sub edge rushers are going to be more of the focus based on Hassan Reddick being first, actually literally the first free agent that signed. But on top of that, a very big priority, obviously, for the Buccaneers to end up securing that style of edge rusher who is under that 250 mark. So that's why I've been, whenever possible, drafting David Bailey to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just makes too much sense, in my opinion. 19, we have the Houston Texans going Dennis Sutton, edge rusher out of Penn State. One of the few teams that does not need an edge rusher, especially in the first round. What are we talking about here? Since James Franklin took over as Penn State's coach, few teams. What the hell? This is just describing who Dennis Sutton is. Why the Texans, though? Come on, Fox. Come on. I mean, again, this is one of the teams that has the best edge rush duo, arguably in the NFL. I mean, just a very dynamic edge duo there with Anderson. Like, it just, I don't get it. I mean, that confuses the hell out of me. I mean, you got to put one sentence in there, even if it's some bullshit like the damn Colts. They need to upgrade the offensive line. At least there's something where it's like, I can't disagree with that. But, I mean, why? Why edge in the first? I understand, hey, we need to continue developing edge, right? You can't continue to piecemeal it with the edge 3, edge 4, etc. I understand that. But first-round pick needs to be getting heavy start times. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson are still, in my opinion, going to be pretty damn solid for the next 2 to 3 years. Dennis Sutton, not something that would be a priority in the first round. 20, the Vikings go Jordan Tyson, wide receiver at Arizona State. Jordan is my number 6 player in the class. I'm a huge fan of him. I guess if he's sitting at 20, just go best player available. But wide receiver 3 at 20? I mean, I guess it's just best player available. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say if he's sitting there that they should ignore him. But if he's sitting there, I would be a little bit worried about the health, which would make me not want the Vikings to go after him. We'll see about that. But let me know what you guys think, Vikings fans. Obviously, I think we all agree there are much bigger positions to target, but interesting. Broncos go Sonny Styles, linebacker out of the Ohio State University. Probably up there with linebacker 1. To me, I think he's linebacker 3, and that's behind Kyle Lewis as well as Whit Weeks. But Sonny Styles and Whit Weeks are, attached at the hip, so you can call Sonny Styles linebacker 2 by all means. Really, really talented player. If you really think that he's going to be something, you could end up taking him in the first. But, with the Broncos going through the free agency route, Greenlaw and all that, I think that that's probably the better move. And so far, it's kind of proven to be more of a reliable move. Linebackers very tough to hit, especially in the draft. I have if you guys ever had True Fruit, it's like my first time ever having it. They had like a pina colada one. It's like white chocolate and like coconut pieces on top of pineapple, like frozen pineapple. Well, I liked it until my throat is getting assaulted. Pause. That came out so wrong. Part of me wants to edit that out, but I can't. I said it needs to go on record. I'm getting no, that doesn't sound right either. The coconut shreds are making this recording a little bit more difficult. There you go. I know that only Broncos fans and true G's will hear it. So if you did, you can feel free to call me out in the comment section. That's okay. At 22, though, the Washington Commanders go Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. I mean, I don't know why the Broncos would go a linebacker over literally the definition of a superstar for exactly what Sean Payton was looking for last year. Is what it is, but if the Commanders can snipe him at 22, by all means. 23, we have the Niners going David Bailey, edge rusher out of Texas Tech. I mean, they usually like a little bit larger guys there, but if they're going to go back-to-back first on the edge, I don't know why this guy has a fetish for edge 3s being first-round picks. Because, again, you have Michael and then obviously Bosa. I mean, are you going to demote one of your first-round picks all of a sudden? Are you going to kick Michael to the inside? I mean, he did some things like that. What the hell? I don't really understand. I mean, again, I understand the idea, hey, build a solid, deep edge core. But, I mean, these are first-round picks. This is not a luxury move. This team has areas of improvement. At 24, the Chargers go Vega Ione, guard out of Penn State. Love him. Beast. Savage on the offensive line. Number 25, we have the Los Angeles Rams going Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. The Rams definitely need to be going after a new quarterback for the long run. Mendoza at 25 is incredible value. For me, he is my quarterback 2 in the class. And if you do want to have that long-term replacement for Matthew Stafford, Mendoza definitely going from system to system to system, Cal to Indiana to now the Rams, definitely might need that one extra year of development in order to get comfortable. But Mendoza has great arm strength, much better mobility than Stafford, and I would love to see how McVay utilizes his skill set. At 26 for the Cincinnati Bengals, they go Akeem Mesidor, defensive end out of Miami, 6'3", 280, tweener build. Really good player, but 6-year senior. On top of that, definitely going to be someone who's going to be more of a mid-round player, but I really do like the fit with the Bengals. I've said a lot of shit this episode. I will say, still like the fit. At 27, we got the Lions going safety, Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. Interesting. One of the few positions this team should never really look at because their defensive backcourt is awesome and they invest a ton into it. But if you are sitting there at 27 and you have a player that, in my opinion, is a top 10 player in the class, can't fully blame them for just trying to go balls to the wall and go and get the best players available. So TBD onto whether I actually think that could be a good move or not. But, especially with the need at edge, there are still some solid players available that I would try to target at this point. But, it's perfectly fine if you want to go and take the best player available. That rarely ends up not working out. At number 28, the Chiefs go Jonah Coleman, running back out of Washington. Running back definitely on the market for the Chiefs. I would just say, based on the group of running backs that's going to be there on day 2, I'd prefer to go and spend that level of capital at a lower value position. Still another team that they're not one running back away from a Super Bowl. They're just the head coach in the quarterback situation. Obviously, some big playmakers end up elevating the roster to where they're always in contention. I don't think the running back would end up being the factor that would end up putting them over. At number 29, we have the Dallas Cowboys from the Micah Parsons trade going C.J. Allen, linebacker out of Georgia. What the hell are we doing here? Going quarterback and linebacker with your first 2 picks, definitely just... it doesn't add up. I mean, CJ Allen's a fun player, but he's nothing special in terms of being a first-round quality running back. If this is Arvell Reese out of Ohio State, maybe. But I would just end up saying definitely going to be a little bit more on the underwhelming side. At number 30 for the Baltimore Ravens, they go Ruben Bain Jr. I forgot that Ruben Bain was not selected yet. That is crazy. So Akeem Mesidor goes before Ruben Bain? What in the actual fuck? I still like the fit for the Bengals, but Ruben Bain is right there for the taking. You take Akeem Mesidor. The hell's going on here? But the Ravens end up getting a superstar in Ruben Bain, who should be a top 5 pick, top 5 to 10. At number 31, the Eagles go Connor Lew, center out of Auburn. That is certainly interesting. Center, not one of the positions the Eagles should be going after. Talking about Landon Dickerson having injuries. First off, if you're trying to replace Landon Dickerson with a 300-pound player when Landon Dickerson's like 350, that doesn't check out. On top of that, you'd be replacing Tyler Steen if you're trying to replace someone on the interior of the offensive line. Again, talking about Landon Dickerson as his prime example, if you want to get somebody who has a frame like that, maybe let's do some research here. Shoot. I ended up just seeing Lamu. I forgot that he hasn't even been drafted in this. But, let's get somebody with a little bit of size. Kobe Baines, not round 1, would be actually a really good fit. He's a right guard as well, has that 330 build. So if you want to basically get a higher floor, bigger body for the right guard spot, not a bad idea. CC Mauigo already ended up going. Parker Brailsford would end up being a Juergens replacement if you want to go that route. Charles Jagasaw is really fun as well. But I'd actually be looking at Josh Braun, who's 340 pounds at 6'6", someone who can play both on the right and the left. So that's where I would keep my head at, and I would end up going and targeting for the Eagles if I'm going for the interior of the offensive line and if I'm trying to replace Landon Dickerson, which is not what I'm trying to do. But I'm just trying to say, even with the logic here, it does not add up. And again, it makes me wonder when you're drafting a center to replace a guard, Does this guy know about beef jergens? Does he understand that Connor Liu is replacing a guard and he's drafting a center? Unbelievable. All right. Last but not least, let's end this off on a high note. The Bills go Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of the Ohio State University. A dream wide receiver 2/3, just really well balanced, can attack every level of the field. Definitely one of the better players to draft at the end of the first. But I hope you appreciated my rant overall. Again, this isn't on a personal level, on a professional level. Like, I'm sure Rob's a great dude. I'm excited to be able to get to know him if he ends up showing up to one of these events. But on a professional level, definitely a lot to work on here. And that's coming from me where I don't even have that much cred to say something like that. I would just say this is a big organization and it's pretty obvious when people don't know what they're doing. And people can make bad decisions all the time. I make bad decisions every single time I do a video, but at least I try to back it up with some sort of logic. It definitely felt like there were some corners cut here to just get out a mock draft. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed me losing my mind. Thank you again for supporting the show. Love you as always. See you later. Peace.